Welcome to That's Good Broncos. I am Brandon Perna, and today I'm talking about the defensive free agents I think the Broncos should try and sign when free agency Fuckfest 2017 opens next week. Tomorrow, I will have the offensive free agents they should sign, and by Thursday, all of my opinions and predictions will be proven wrong when John Elway ignores all of my advice in these videos. That's Good Broncos. That's Good Sports is sponsored by CWHemp.com. Go there, use my promo code That's Good, and you'll get 10% off of your Charlotte's Web hemp oil. I use Charlotte's Web hemp oil every day of my life. I just took some. I take it before I go to bed. It helps me sleep. Get on the internet, type in hemp oil, see what the benefits of the CBDs that it's high in are for you. And I'm gonna keep talking about it until you do the research and see if this is something that could benefit you. Charlotte's Web hemp oil, CWHemp.com. There's one defensive player set to hit free agency that I would not touch with a 10-inch dick, as the saying goes. And that's strong safety DJ Swearinger, who was in Arizona last season. Remember DJ talking shit to the Broncos during the Texans-Broncos joint practices, taking a cheap shot on Wes Welker in preseason and invoking Peyton Manning to get in his face and draw a taunting penalty. Just embrace how amazing that shot is. Embrace it. The greatest moment of Peyton's career. Sorry DJ, but the Broncos house is full. Malik Jackson left for Jacksonville last year, and when Vance Walker injured his knee in training camp, the Broncos were never able to appropriately fill the giant gaping void on the right side of the defensive line that Jackson left. Nose tackle Sylvester Williams is set to hit the free agent market, so really the D-line is almost as big of a priority as the offensive line. The good news is there are many options for the Broncos to consider in terms of boosting the D-line in free agency. The most impactful player the Broncos could sign on the defensive side of the ball is Arizona Cardinals defensive end Calais Campbell. Calais is an elite defensive end, and if acquired, would instantly make the Broncos defense Super Bowl worthy again. He finished 2016 as the second highest rated defensive end behind only Aaron Donald. He also has 3 interceptions during his career, which is about 3 more than most defensive ends ever get. Remember when the Broncos and Cardinals played in 2014? I do, because Calais Campbell had this amazing interception on a screen pass. He also suffered a knee injury when Julius Thomas made the one and only block of his NFL career. Who says Thomas refuses to block? Oh yeah, every coach he's ever had. Campbell accounted for 8 sacks, had a pick, was fined for hitting Cam Newton in 2016 just like the Broncos defender. So I can't think of a guy who would be a better fit in Denver than Calais Campbell. He is number 1 in my opinion on the defensive side of the ball, but he's number 1 in many people's eyes, which means he will cost the Broncos a lot of money. It may not be worth paying him and signing fewer free agents, filling fewer holes, just like if I were the only man involved in an orgy. So, if Campbell is too pricey, there are still many options on the D-line. We learned this week that the Chiefs will not place the franchise tag on tackle Dontari Poe. Poe, a familiar foe, would be an upgrade over Sylvester Williams. The last time the Broncos stole a defensive lineman from Kansas City, Neil Smith, they won a couple Super Bowls. However, I would rather see Nick Fairley, Carl Klug, or Brandon Williams in blue and orange. None of these guys are a perfect fit, but all provide different strengths. Nick Fairley may be the most disruptive player of the group. He had 6.5 sacks last year, which is quite a bit for that position. Poe, Williams, and Klug combined for 4 sacks. Fairley may pair nicely with a Derek Wolfe, who had 5.5 sacks in 2016. However, Fairley would not be a huge upgrade as a run stopper, and that's really what the Broncos want on the line. If Denver wants a true run-stuffing, line-clogging big boy, I think the best bet is Ravens' Brandon Williams. Baltimore will try and bring him back, but he's the guy I'd love to see in the middle of that line. He will command attention and I think provide the most immediate help as a run destroyer. I also like Carl Klug from Tennessee, as he's probably the most balanced in terms of his ability as a pass rusher and run stopper. However, Klug is more of a defensive end and would be playing on the edge, not nose like Poe, Fairley, or Williams. But If you have two solid ends like Wolf and Klug, it takes the pressure off of finding a super dominant nose tackle. The interesting thing about Fairley is he can play both positions because of his size, and we know Elway was interested in him back in the 2011 draft. I'd say the biggest issue with Fairley would be consistency, but 2016 was his best year so far in the NFL, and that was with the Saints. Let's say the Broncos decide they will focus on a defensive end. Well, in addition to Klug, the Patriots' Jabaal Sheard is a free agent. In fact, if I'm Denver, I sign Jabaal Sheard and Donta Hightower, taking away two of the Pats' best defensive players. Boom! Destroy the Pats in the playoffs in 2018 because they don't have a fucking defense. Genius. Hightower would be great with Brandon Marshall, but realistically, he is probably way too expensive for the Broncos to consider. Jabaal Sheard, for that matter, is also probably going to be expensive, but Sheard is a very balanced defensive end. Across the board, he can do it all: pass rush, run stop, and even play in coverage. Sheard and Wolf together would make any nose look good, just like they did for Ryan Seacrest. So those are the defensive players I would like to see the Broncos pursue. Yes, mostly all D-line, maybe a linebacker, but I think if they're gonna add linebacker help, they'll do it through the draft. Again, tomorrow I'll have offensive players, so thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Subscribe here on YouTube. You gotta subscribe to me. It makes a big difference. Give me a follow on Twitter at Brandon Perna. We can talk football, or I can help you with your taxes. Tax season's coming up. CWHemp.com, my promo code, that's good. Use it or lose it. Although it'll actually still be there if you don't use it.